So now it's down there.
Okay.
And we are actually talking to people.
Excellent. Hello, everybody.
Oh, I guess we should maybe take our masks off, even though.
Okay.
So we just have to. It's caught in my hair clip. Stay away from me.
Okay. Keep your damn distance. Okay.
I think we're 2:00.
We are 2
So,
o'clock.
Can everybody hear us? If anybody can type a message in and let us know that you can hear us okay, that would be awesome.
Oh.
Hi,
Hi,
Leanne.
Leanne. Perfect.
She says yes.
Okay. Perfect. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we can get started.
Yay.
Go ahead.
I'm so excited about this one. The
Okay.
whole cross stitch thing is like new to me. My mom always did it. And she actually did trying to think of it like the Tunisian crochet.
Oh, okay.
And then cross stitch that with yarn. So I like the finer stuff. So yeah, I've been playing around with it, as you know, for the past few weeks.
Yes.
And we just keep ordering in a little bit more each time we put in an order with our distributors. And yeah, we're just building up our stash in the store.
That's it. And it does take a bit of time. You've got to find what people are interested in, what they like. And of course, once we got started with it, that's sort of got this ball rolling of a lot of other things that started coming in, made us start thinking, which was a problem. So I think we should, do you want to share some of your embroidery first?
Sure. I actually started the embroidery. I'm embarrassed to say how long ago I started it, but I just wanted something that was really cute, that I could eventually frame in a hoop. And if you want to maybe just switch to the overhead, yeah. So if I just, found an image online and traced it out on my fabric, threw it in a hoop and kind of winged it. Every time I got to a new flower or a new leaf or something like that, I'd just look up a different stitch and just try something new on that particular flower. So it's a little bit crazy, but I've still got a few flowers to go and a couple of leaves, and got to finish a little bit of the text there. I started out doing it with like number 8 pearl cotton, which I found out pretty quickly was a little ridiculous for the embroidery. But so I ended up taking that out and doing it with 2 strands of floss. So I can't wait till it's finished. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to frame it, but it'll definitely be in a hoop and it'll go somewhere anyway.
Good. It's beautiful. And I think the thing that you really want to emphasize on that sort of embroidery work is that you can actually really make it your own. Again, you don't have to, there's no rules to it. It's whatever works for you and what you like, and you get a lot of creativity to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be anything complicated. Like I said, I just found an image online and printed it out and traced it on my fabric. Google Images is fantastic for that.
Yes.
And you can find lots of stuff that you can combine or do alone or whatever, just to, make up your own thing. And yeah,
that's good.
The first cross stitch project that I picked up was the Flea Market flowers. I was very excited about this because I'm actually doing the quilt as well. And I thought, oh my goodness, look at how little and cute that is. I could probably get that done before I get the quilt done. Yeah, I've got one block done. And Tammy started it at the same time I did.
It's true.
And
I don't know if we can see these here.
She's not going to be my friend anymore.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm a huge slacker.
Well, so there is a difference, though. I want to show you on this one. Before we jump into all of the differences with cross stitch. So Tammy, I believe you're on a 14 count.
Yeah.
Okay. And I went to a 25 count. Big difference. If
I'm
you
just
see that
grab
one,
this,
yeah,
and go like that and say, look at the size difference. So when you see a cross stitch pattern that says it was done on such and such a count, that doesn't mean you have to do it on that one.
No, absolutely not. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah, you can do it on a different count, either higher or lower, and it's just going to turn out to be a different size when it's finished.
Right. But it really, it does make a difference. I want to show you as well on this guy. This was done on a 14 count. This one is, actually, well, neither one of us have that flower done in our section.
I was gonna say, what are you comparing it to?
Yeah, I just realized that. Okay. Anyways, this flower actually goes in here. I clearly haven't gotten to that one. So this one is, again, a little bit bigger. You can just tell by how small these stitches are in comparison. And this one is filled with rice and like a scented sachet, which I mixed together. And I just put these in like little dough bowls or on my tiered tray because they're just cute and fun. And I like them, and sometimes there's a small piece of a pattern I really like and I don't want to do it. The whole pattern.
Thing, yeah.
I look at something, I think, yeah, I just want to do this little part of it, and this works out great for that. The pumpkin, this little guy here, and again, I guess the overhead you can see it. This actually was just a free pattern that I pulled off of the Google Images, and I did it up. And again, made another little bean bag guy. So, and they look great when you're decorating your tiered trays and that sort of thing. This was done on a 16 count. So, just to give you a little bit of an idea, 14 and 14, 16, and then 25.
And different pattern, but I got this one because it just came out, and then we got in some of the Ada cloth that we had ordered, and I forgot to bring down the finished sample that was on 14 count, and I'm kind of part of the way through this. So this is on a 16 count Cosmo Ada, and I absolutely am in love with this Ada cloth. If you've ever cross-stitched before and you've used the regular run-of-the-mill Ada cloth, it's really like scratchy and
it's
stiff, even after you pre-wash it. And this stuff is really, really nice and soft, and almost has a wee bit of a sheen to it.
I was gonna say, it almost has a silky feel to me.
Yeah, like it's not shiny.
No,
but it is very, very nice. And I chose to do this one with the neutral colors, and I'm going out to just a very slightly darker beige on the outside. So I'm still toying with doing multiple snowflakes, but I'm not sure yet. So that's why I haven't cut off all the excess, because I might get halfway through the next one and go, I'm done.
Okay, what else have we got to share?
And that is
Oh.
our Starlet Snowflake pattern.
We've got that pattern here.
We've got that in stock too.
That's that one. This is the flea markets that we have. I'm going to put this back to front, I think, just so I can show some of these patterns. So there's the Starlet that Tammy's done. And look at the difference. This is done in pinks, and she's chosen this ombre effect. It's gorgeous. It's just so different. Makes a big difference when you change up your colors. This is Flea Market, which is also a really good one, the one that we've shown you. And there's a couple other little patterns here. So those are good ones.
The cross stitch section on our website, we're getting new patterns in all the time, and trying out lots of different ones. And they disappear very quickly, it seems. So if you see one you like, make sure you order it, because it may not be there the next time you come back and look.
I actually got let loose this morning and was allowed to click the button all by myself and order some. It was pretty exciting. So I don't know if Tammy's seen yet what I've ordered, but anyway. This is another book. This is the first one that we got in for Christmas. And I did up the little stockings over here that you can, I've got 1, 2, and 3 was almost done.
That one.
Yeah. So this is the idea of an advent calendar, which I think is kind of cool. And it goes all the way up. I believe there's a bonus up to 25 as well in here. So little treats for daily things that you might want to get.
I think the stockings need to be bigger.
Well, we've talked about it. I went by what was in the book, in the pattern. I will tell you, I did make a couple of small changes. The pattern in the book did not suggest anything about quilting, the actual outside of the stocking. It also did not mention anything about lining, but I just couldn't leave it without doing all of that. So I just think it looked a little bit better, gave it some body, and it was way cuter. So there you go.
Yeah. And as we're going along, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. There is a wee bit of a delay, but you know, as we see them come up, we'll try and answer. Okay. So I'm gonna say okay, and Tammy's gonna be like thoroughly horrified.
Yes.
This is what I'm working with when I'm actually like cross stitching, as I'm doing as I'm pulling out my strands of floss. I just kind of put this to the side, and then when I need another strand of floss, I get it from here. She's just like probably dying inside.
Right now I'm getting a bit of anxiety about this.
So help me, Tammy. What do I do?
Well, let me tell you. I have, first of all, this is one of my bags that I keep my small supplies in, which I love. I use
If you're looking at these bags thinking, oh my gosh, those are super cute, the pattern is on our website.
Yes.
It's the charming vinyl project bag. You can get it in a PDF download or a paper copy as well. And we do have some kits in the store too. And Tammy has done a fantastic tutorial that was on, was that yesterday? No, that was on Monday.
Yeah. And I did the patchwork one on Monday. This one is a Lori Holt fabric, and we kitted this one as well.
Yeah. With the charm squares.
No, we didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just love these vintage ladies, so I played around and I just made up my own. Just did up a few. But anyways, I digress. First of all, in my bag, I want you to see, why do I have wet ones in my bag? Because clearly Tammy doesn't have them in hers.
I certainly hope it's not for what they're actually intended for.
No, but you will notice when you're working on your cross stitch, your hands get dirty. Even though you've washed them before you've gone to pick up your hoop, they can get dirty. I actually love these. I wipe my hands every
Just
time.
A little pre-wash.
so that, and I keep the little packets in my bag so that I don't get dirt on my hoop and my line keeper. Anyhow, back to Tammy's mess. We have
just put the overhead camera back on.
So
yeah,
that one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is called a Floss Keeper, and this was a gift from my lovely sister-in-law, who is quite a cross-stitcher, and her and I decided to, I think it was in the middle of the first or second lockdown, her and I would just video chat because that's all we could do, and we decided to challenge ourselves with the flea market. And then of course Tammy got in on that one too, which was great. Anyway, she ordered me this, but you can use it for any of your work. And we have some, but I think they're all out right now.
Yeah, I know I've ordered more.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. The distributor's really sketchy about some things being in stock all the time right now, unfortunately. So we try and order them in. But if you don't see one in stock and you actually want one, just shoot the store an email and say, I'd like to order something, and then we can let you know as soon as it comes in. And if we happen to be missing that we need to order it, that sort of gives us a heads up that, oh yeah, we're out of those, we should get some more.
Yeah. So Floss Keepers are great. When I'm working with, and I usually work with the DMC, and I know what my colors are in the grouping, I just pull off what I need. I tie it onto these, and these come off very easily. You just give it a little tug, and that comes right off, right through that mess. I know it looks bad, but it does. You can pull out your one strand that you want when you're using it. So again, there you go. There's your one strand.
Like seriously, look at how easy she did that. And every time I do that, it gets all knotted up. Yeah. And I sit there for 5 minutes trying to untangle it before I can even thread my needle with it.
So I
don't like you anymore.
I know, we've had this conversation. So I also, on these type of Floss Keepers, you can write down the actual number on them, rub it out afterwards if you want to use it for a different one. So it works great. Then you just pop it back on. You know where it is. And there is none of this going on. So
stop being so judgy.
I know. I'm sorry. I have some issues with that.
So Barb is asking if we carry the cross-stitch linen. We are trying to source, obviously, continuously better products, but still at a reasonable price. We know the prices have shot through the roof for pretty much everything. We've found a pretty decent selection so far to get us started off. I know Lori Holt in particular likes to use the 25 count Lugana. We do have some 28 count even weave, which is very similar.
It is. It's very similar.
The linen is proving hard to source, unfortunately. We do have a distributor, but to get packages like they provide, it would be a very intermittent supply and take a while to get in. So we're trying to source stuff from our distributors that can fill orders a little bit faster. Probably the best suggestion that I would say is to have a look on our website. Usually whatever is there we have in stock, and sort of pick from that.
The if you're looking at basically a linen or an even weave, the closest that we would have right now is the Charles Craft, and it's the 28 count, which is stitched over 2, very similar to what you would do with a linen. So that's a close, and we've got a couple of colors, but definitely look on the website to see what we've got that might be close to that for you. So just to show you that.
And
one.
As always, if you have something in particular that you're looking for, the best thing to do is just send us an email with, you know, the item and the item number, however much information you have, and we can always look and see if we can order it in.
The other cross stitch fabric that we do have. This Cosmo, and I think we talked about it a little bit. It is just in the 16 count. That's all we can get. You said?
They don't have another count. At least not with our distributor anyway.
Okay. Well, I've always liked to go like 18 to 22 kind of count. I've tried this now and I love it. I don't know what it is. It's smooth. It looks beautiful. And I've worked on linen before.
It's a little more refined than the 14 count. You know, you get that just slightly smaller cross stitch, but it's not so tiny that you're like, I can't even see it.
Right. Like the 25, which is really hard to see. I need a big light over my shoulder when I'm doing that one. What else have we got here?
So one thing I'll say, if you're just starting out and you're looking at some of the, the Lori Holt cross stitch, or even some of the, more primitive colors, that sort of thing, we did put together one collection. It's the Be Basics collection. If you've looked at the Aura Floss from Aurafil, it's a little expensive, and I'm sure it's a fine product. We carry Aurafil thread. It's great, but for somebody just starting out and wanting to try, it's a lot of money to put out just to try something that you might find that you don't really like all that much. So we put together one of those in the DMC corresponding colors to the Aura Floss, and so that's the Lori Holt Be Basics collection.
Yeah.
We'll probably come up with some other collections at some point, maybe to go with specific patterns. We do have a really good selection of DMC floss on our website as well. And we have the little floss bobbins and organizers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else along with that too, and I totally forgot what it was.
Okay, well. Your needles. That's something that we should talk about.
Yeah.
These are the... Sorry, I'm getting confused which camera to look at.
Yeah. Usually for showing them
little bring
stuff,
it up.
The overhead camera
Okay.
is a much better view than the front camera.
So these ones are the John James 24 chenille cross-stitch needles, and then the Bowen 24 as well is what we have. I personally really like the John James. They're a little, they're not quite as sharp.
Yeah.
One thing you want to be careful of when you're using your needles is you don't want to pierce your cross stitch. Meaning, if you make a mistake, come up not inside the hole, and you go through and you start piercing those squares, it can make a little bit of a mess there, and you don't want to have that.
Your cross stitch grid doesn't stay nice and even. Yeah.
So that's why I do like these. I also like them because the eye is much bigger.
Yeah, we have the tulip ones as well, which are my favorite. But any of those that have a nice tip but not a really sharp tip are fantastic. You don't want like super blunt sock darning needles either.
Oh gosh, no. That's and of course we have the needle threaders, which are important.
And we have hoops as well. If you prefer to do your cross stitch in a hoop, I know some people don't. I don't understand that, but I mean, I'm not exactly a long time cross stitcher, so at some point I might see the benefit of not having it in a hoop. But
linen actually does work nicely. I myself have never done it without a hoop. I don't trust myself to be square enough to keep it in line. I just find that it's much better with a hoop. We do carry some here. We've got some nice wooden ones, and we've got the wooden locking hoops upstairs. Those are great. What else?
Yeah, and I ordered in ones that are fairly sturdy, but still economical. So you could use them for actually doing your work, and then they're not so expensive that you wouldn't want to use it to actually frame your work afterwards either. If you like to frame it in a hoop. Maybe not necessarily with cross stitch, but with embroidery. For
embroidery,
sure.
yes,
that's done
you
a
can.
lot.
Yeah, cross stitch, we've got, I've been playing around a lot with the cross stitch patterns and what I want to do with them. They're not just your traditional, put it in a frame with a mat and hang it on the wall. There's so many neat things that we can start doing with them, like the little sachets. There's also ways that you can mount them and layer them on sticky board. When I get this one done, I have saved some of my flea market fabric from the quilt, and I'm going to be framing this with some fabric. I'm going to be mounting it onto some sticky board and layering it, making it an actual art piece, not just a frame. That's which is traditionally what it used to be, but now we're seeing a lot of really fun things that are being done with them.
With the modern spin on it, there's a lot of different mounting ideas and options, and it just makes them look totally different. It's really not like an old-fashioned
it's not
thing anymore.
It used to be, and it kind of went away for a while. But now that we've got some of these amazing patterns that have come out, it's definitely making a comeback. And something to think about, I don't know, but we never would see a black Aida cloth. Ever. Ever. It was a white or a cream, and that was pretty much it. You never had, you'd have to tea dye them or dye them yourself to make, but now what we're getting, these are gorgeous.
And I know some people have a hesitancy about working on black because it's really hard to see what you're doing. But this Cosmo stuff is fantastic. You know, you might need a little light over your shoulder or something, but it has actually been pretty easy to work with. And I'm saying that even though I'm going blind because I'm old now. But it is really, really gorgeous stuff. And then you can also think about the embroidery too on toweling. There's tons of great little towel things to do, little sayings to embroider on them, and those are really easy things that you can whip up. You know, you see all those t-shirts and whatever. Grab an image off Google Images and whip it up on a towel and give it as a little hostess gift.
They're a lot of fun. One thing, speaking of working with different things, so I discovered this. Now, we don't have these at the store, but this is just a little tip that I've kind of discovered. I could not bring my chair here, my favorite chair that I sit in, and no one else is allowed to sit in at my house. Anyway, this sits on your lap, and when you are working on your embroidery, I can't even cope with that today. I'm just so upset. Anyways, especially even on the black, like I can see when I have this piece sitting on my lap. I don't know if that helps, if you can see it, but
yeah, no, I was just looking at one of the comments.
You can put like a white, something white underneath it, but even this helps a lot. Which is great. But the lap desk, which I just literally sit in my chair, this sits on top, and you don't get any shoulder strain, anything. It's all keeps it. You've got somewhere for your pattern, somewhere for your tools or your phone, I guess, if you wanted to. But it really does help. So it's just another one of those little things that.
And somebody was asking if we have any tips for working with the black Aida cloth. And I found, I mean, I don't do it all the time because it would be kind of crazy, but I just have a light that is on a little gooseneck that is over the arm of my chair, basically, and I use that. But I also found one day, just setting it down on top of my iPad, that the light from underneath works really well. I don't know that I would have the light from underneath on all the time, but if you're really trying to inspect it or anything like that, I don't know that I would use my iPad either, but I do have a light box, you know, one of the little thin LED light boxes. You could certainly set that on your little lap desk or on your lap in your chair while you're doing your cross stitch and have the light come up from underneath. But I think a good overhead light.
Yeah. a knot light, that type of,
Yeah.
yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Those are really good. Yeah. I think the biggest thing with embroidery or cross stitch is try and stay organized with your tools. Keep them.
Just took the fun right out of it.
Just waiting for that. Because, and it's important because when you're working on these, this is a lot of work that you're going to.
Yeah.
It really is. And I mean, it's not that it's super expensive, but you want to keep everything. And I find if I'm sitting and working on something, I can literally just pick up that lap desk, you know, move it over to the table, and I'm good. I can get up.
Yeah.
I don't lose stuff. Things aren't falling all over the place. Of course, the bags are great for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of nonsense that is, but a floss keeper is key.
I have a floss keeper. It's this on my table. I don't see the problem with that.
Well,
the rest of the stuff that I'm not using is in my
where?
little organizer on floss bobbins.
Okay.
This is just while I'm using it.
All right.
Kind of. Sort
of. Another thing, actually, that just a needle minder. This is a great thing to have. I'm hoping we're going to be able to order some more of these guys in.
Yeah, I try and keep them in, but every time I order in a few, they just disappear.
I keep them, I have a couple of them. I keep them in my needle book, which is just made up of felt and some fabrics that I had. This is out of the Stitch collection just because I had to have it matching.
It's just made up of ridiculousness.
Everything had to be pretty. along with the little matching rickrack that came
I was going to point that
here.
out earlier.
Yeah.
Look at the rickrack along here.
Yeah.
This way. Like, come on. How adorable is that?
So we had to put it there. We had to match it to here. I didn't put any on this one, but I did. Oh, this was a little Lori Holt piece. This was from
the twill tape. We
twill
still have
tape.
that.
Yes, we do. We have it in white and we have it in cream. And this just made up the little needle book.
I haven't actually measured it with a real ruler to see if it's accurate.
I don't know if it is or not. No. Do we have a ruler here?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, excellent. Let's see. See what it does.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, I've stitched on it, so.
Oh, this is in inches and it's in centimeters. That's
yeah,
not
so
going to help
that's not going to help you at all. It
well,
actually 2.5.
2.5 centimeters.
Oh, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty darn close.
Okay. But I also keep a.
Now that we have that out of the way.
Yeah, sorry, that got us distracted. A needle minder in my needle book. Again, it's just you sit something down, you go to change your thread. You don't want stuff flying all over the place. It's important.
Lance is so organized and cute. I would expect nothing less. Very inspiring.
Thank you. Well, I couldn't help myself. I had to have it matching. And I can't admit how many I have matching at home. I only brought in a small sampling of them. So speaking of also organization, one more thing that I think was really important to talk about.
Oh, now we're just...
No, this is really, really super important. A lot of people say, how do you keep your floss? What do you do with all of your excess, you know, just your extras or before you're using them? So, again, this isn't something that we have here, but it's something very accessible. And once you buy all your wonderful floss from us, you can go home and do this. These are photo cases. So back in the day when you used to print your photos, your little 4x6s, you would put them in here and store your photos. I, however, have decided I put my floss in here, but I keep it in colorways. So, for example, this has got blues in it, and inside I just make a little note of all the numbers that I have. So if I'm going to do a project and I know I need blues, I can look here. Do I have it? Yep, great. And if not, I can go and get some.
Why don't you have a master list on the outside?
You just had to ruin it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it.
Just knew that was going to come.
Number the little things. And
I
then
know.
have a
And then
master list on the outside. See, just like, you
okay,
know.
by tomorrow, I'll have it done. I'll have it done, and I'll even email it to you so you can look at it and know what I have in case you need something. Anyhow, this was my way of just keeping it all organized. I know a lot of people like to wind them on the floss.
Yeah, I do.
And those are great. You can pop those on a ring for a project. But for long-term storage, this is what I like.
Yeah.
So,
and I know if you've got a collection like this, you know, because you've collected over a while and haven't
yeah.
really done a ton with it, it does take a while to put everything on those floss bobbins.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's worth it, you know, if you don't have anything better to do, or you just don't like to sleep.
I mean, or
but,
you want to live like this.
But I'm not living like that.
That's fine.
Judgy.
Oh, what else have we got to show? You got any other
No.
projects over there?
Just, you know, half done things.
Oh.
I brought in some of the Moda
Oh, yes. Wanted to show
Stitchers canvas that we have. If you love stitching on soft stuff, this is even better. This is just like drapey and beautiful, and this is on the bolt. So if you can see the weave in that, it's just gorgeous. I haven't really stitched too much on it. I just did a couple of test stitches to see what it looked like.
You didn't show me that.
Because I didn't want you to judge me.
Oh, for God's sake.
So this was trying to do it with like, I think that was one strand of floss, because I was trying to do it in every hole, and this is equal to, I think we figured the 25 count.
Yes.
So you should be stitching over 2 with this.
Yeah.
But I tried to do it in every one, and oh my gosh, it is really small. You can do it, but it is pretty small. So I tried a few with stitching it over 2, and that is quite manageable. It's pretty decent.
Okay.
Now she can inspect it.
Yeah, that one's too tight.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't think I would do a whole pattern like that.
No.
But it is very lovely and soft to work with, and it's good for embroidery too. So it's not just limited to cross stitch.
Yeah, that is nice. Good work.
Stabilizer.
Right. Oh yes, Maddie said we had to talk
So
about
when
that.
you're done your project, if you're doing embroidery, I would almost be tempted to put the SF-101 on first before you trace out your pattern. We like to use friction pens for that, because they're just fantastic to remove for that, and most of the time you are going to have all of your thread over top of it.
Yeah.
The cross stitch, you would do it after your cross stitch is done.
These ones have, the stockings have got the SF-101, and I think it is 911 in this, oh maybe it is SF-101, I can't remember now. Anyways, when you're done, and if you're going to be putting it into something, even though you might be mounting it, and you want to put your batting behind it, still put some form of a stabilizer on it. It will keep it nice and pristine, because
and square,
without it,
and keep any stray threads from kind of pulling through.
Poking
too.
through. There shouldn't be stray threads, though. Too.
Here we go.
I'm just saying. Yeah. So when you're doing the back, so that you don't have stray threads, here's the backing. And you know what? We all do our backing a different way. However,
nobody does it like that, because that's just ridiculous.
Well,
I've tried, and I don't know how you get it that neat. I just don't.
Well, why are you jumping all over the place?
Well, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, okay, we're going to have a class. Anyhow, what that does, that stabilizer does.
You don't want to use, well, that one's not as
No,
bad.
that one's perfect.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, not perfect, but.
With some stabilizer on here, that's going to keep it nice and taut, okay, and nothing is going to move. So even if you do have some threads, which was what my point was, that have maybe come out a little bit from where you've weaved them in at the back, they're not going to.
Yeah.
After you're done this.
Yeah.
Okay. After
When
you put your
the
stabilizer on it, it's not going to happen. They will not come out because that's a lot of work, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want that. So. Okay.
I think, are we done?
I think we might be.
Do we have any more questions? We got the cross stitch linen, the black Aida cloth.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need a mat. Okay.
Yeah. So even after the live is done, and if you're watching this as a replay afterwards, you can certainly still ask questions. It notifies us when there's a comment made, so we can always pop back on and answer. And yeah, just give it a try. Have fun with it. It really isn't.
Yeah, check out the website as well because we are going to be offering little morning classes.
Yes, Tammy has a class coming up
to start, and it's not going to be anything crazy. We're just going to get you started so that you can kind of get the feel for it and see if you like it. Once we get people on with it, then we can. I'm really going to follow the lead of what people are interested in doing. Of course, with Christmas coming up, maybe there'll be a few.
Yeah.
Because I did order some cute Christmas ones today. I did.
So the class is like, I'm going to say first week of October? Or
October 5th?
Something
I
like
think
that.
it's October 5th. And again, it's just going to be a morning class, an intro into cross stitch. We're going to go into a little more detail on how to get started, different ways of stitching and traveling so that you can get a good feel for it, how to read a pattern properly so that it makes sense to you. And that's so that'll be coming up. So check the website out. We've got classes on that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing those.
It'll be super fun.
Yeah. I think we'll get some good fun out of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
will you make up kits for the patterns? Barb.
I don't know, like for the cross stitch patterns, I don't know that they're really necessary.
No.
We can always like if you have a particular pattern in mind, we can always help you pick out what you need for them.
Yeah.
But they're kind of difficult to put together kits per se because sometimes you might have 3 or 4 floss colors already and you don't want to buy like a collection because you don't want to be doubling up. And you really, when the Aida cloth comes in smaller packages like this, it's not really something that is easy or maybe necessary to kit. But like I said, certainly we're here to help you pick out what you need and figure out what you may already have and that sort of thing.
Also, another thing that we can, kind of help you and guide you with is when certain colors are called for. DMC's different, and you can't find it. Aurifil Dmc Conversion Charts are readily available. I've found not too often, but it has happened a few times where I can't get the colors that Aurifil. So there's kind of a neat way of like we can help you with teaching you how to pick out those colors that are going to work, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And DMC also has a conversion too. It's not really a conversion, but say you can't get one color, it'll give you options of the next closest colors.
Yes. Yeah.
So they have that as well.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful.
It is helpful. It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go.
So like I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. even after the live is done,
Mhm.
and we will do our best to help.
And help to answer everything that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check out Tammy's class coming up because
Mhm.
she's an awesome teacher
Thank you.
and extremely patient. And we'll talk to you again.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great day.